When the results for both the written exam and the interview came back with me ranked first, I thought my admission to the Stanford doctoral lab program was in the bag. But with just one sentence, Vanessa gave my spot to the guy who ranked dead last, a scholarship student she was sponsoring. Her reasoning? If you're going to support someone, you support them all the way. She wanted to help him achieve his dream. Her logic was that she was enough for me. She wanted to play savior, but she sacrificed me to do it. If that's how it is, I don't want her anymore either. After all, love is optional, but my future is not. When the admission results dropped, I stood on the street corner in a daze. I know nothing in life is 100% guaranteed, but this was a blindside I never saw coming. Historically, the acceptance rate for Stanford doctoral graduates into this specific lab was 100%. Everyone else got in. Only me, the guy ranked first, got cut. I opened my social feed and saw people were already celebrating. Dead last, but still living the dream. Who says this isn't success? The caption accompanied a screenshot of an acceptance letter to the lab. It was Caleb. In this batch of candidates, he was at the bottom of every metric. Vanessa had liked the post. Her comment, "Keep crushing it." A senior grad student involved in the recruiting process called me, sounding concerned. "Jason, did you piss someone off recently?" "No, why do you ask?" He sounded confused. "The student who took your spot. The official reason for his acceptance is that his undergraduate background is a better fit for the lab's future research direction. But we all know that's BS." He paused. I heard Vanessa pulled some strings. "You didn't get on her bad side, did you?" Hearing that, my blood ran cold. Not many people knew Vanessa and I were together. Her mother is the majority shareholder of the lab. Vanessa claimed that to avoid nepotism rumors and ensure my acceptance was viewed as merit-based, we shouldn't go public. Only our close circle knew. I used to thank her for being so thoughtful. Now, the result was people thinking I'd offended her. Ideally ironic. I thanked the senior and hung up. Just then, her text came in. "Results are out?" I replied, "You already knew that, didn't you?" My phone rang immediately. I declined. After she called a few more times, I blocked her on everything. I can live without romance, but I won't let anyone wreck my career. My best friend, Mike, asked me out to dinner to cheer me up. Just my luck, we ran into them. Here's to our boy Caleb getting into his dream lab. Cheers. Vanessa was standing next to Caleb, smiling at him. They were standing way too close. Talk about bad luck. I'm gonna go give that witch a piece of my mind. Mike huffed, ready to charge. I held him back. Forget it. Let's go somewhere else. We turned to leave, but someone shouted from behind. "Jason, stop right there." Caleb stormed over to me, looking furious. "Why did you block Vanessa? How has she ever wronged you?" Mike laughed in disbelief. "You have the nerve to ask? She gave Jason's lab spot to you. Why wouldn't he block her? To wish her a happy new year?" Caleb looked insulted. "What do you mean, gave? I followed the recruitment process every step of the way. Just because you got cut doesn't mean you can slander me." Vanessa walked over then. She looked at me, frowning slightly. "Caleb is right. Jason, you need to admit that there's always someone better than you. You need to be brave enough to face failure. It's not a big deal that you didn't get in this time, you can apply again next year. But don't slander others." She was actually gaslighting me. I stepped closer to her, staring dead into her eyes, articulating every word. "Vanessa, do you dare say you had no hand in this? That you had no personal agenda? Do you dare?" My voice rose on the last 3 words. Everyone present was sharp, they knew Caleb's grades. But no one wanted to take a side and risk anything, so they stayed silent, just watching the drama. A flash of guilt crossed Vanessa's eyes. She reached out to grab my arm. "Okay, Jason, let's go back and talk. I'll explain everything." I shook her off violently and stepped into her space. Scared to admit it, the air went silent. Seeing no one was defending him, Caleb panicked. He grabbed Vanessa's arm and yelled at me. "That's enough. If you're mad, take it out on me. Why are you forcing her into a corner?" My gaze dropped to where they were touching. Couldn't help but sneer. "You two. You deserve each other." As I walked out the door, I could hear Caleb sobbing. Forget it, just give it to him. He's your boyfriend. Regardless of the real results, he should be the one accepted. I won't take the blame for this. That night, I was back at my place packing when Vanessa came in. What are you doing? I didn't stop, didn't look at her. You have a new favorite. Naturally, I'm stepping aside to let you two be happy. What are you talking about? I came back early specifically to explain this to you. She grabbed my wrist. I couldn't shake her off this time. Fine. Explain. I want to hear what ridiculous excuse you've cooked up. Vanessa sighed. You know Caleb has been on a scholarship from my family since high school. His dream was to get into the Stanford lab. He's worked hard for years. If he couldn't make it, it would be a huge regret for him. Since we started sponsoring him, we should see it through. Helping him achieve his dream provides closure. I froze for a second, digested her explanation, and then laughed out loud. So, my dream doesn't matter? My hard work is just supposed to be a stepping stone for him? Vanessa gripped my shoulders, putting on a face of infinite patience. You're different, Jason. You have me. He has nothing. If you really want it, when a spot opens up next year, I'll get you straight in. I was so disgusted I wanted to retch, but my eyes betrayed me and welled up. Tell me, who exactly is your boyfriend? Why do I have to wait until next year for something I earned this year? Why couldn't he wait a year to realize his dream? Is having you supposed to be useful? Because having you just cost me what was rightfully mine. My choked-up interrogation caused a moment of panic in Vanessa, but it was quickly replaced by anger. Jason, stop being so dramatic. The decision is made, you not accepting it won't change anything. Aside from this, whatever job you want, I can make it happen. I wiped my tears and zipped up my suitcase. No need. Spend your value on him. He needs it more, doesn't he? Seeing me grabbing my luggage, Vanessa got angrier. Are you done yet? I told you there's nothing going on between us. You are my boyfriend. I turned my back to her, my voice cold. Starting now, I'm not. Vanessa, we're done. You and that stubborn temper. Who's going to want you in the future? I didn't look back. My academic advisor told me that for this round of industry partnership projects, she wasn't going to choose Stanford. I know you were treated unfairly. I sent your materials to the lab at UCLA. They've already replied. They're waiving the process and admitting you directly. But they need some updated experimental data. Get that ready. This was an unexpected lifeline. For the next long while, I lived in the school lab crunching data. I blocked out all noise from the outside world. It wasn't until I had mastered all the data, submitted the report to my advisor, and got the confirmation that I finally relaxed. Now, I just had to wait for the final offer letter from UCLA. I checked my phone, ignoring a few calls from unknown numbers. While scrolling through social media, I saw a post cover that looked familiar. I zoomed in. It was a signed book by a novelist I loved. And it was the limited edition. I hadn't been able to buy it. I once asked Vanessa to use her connections to find it for me. She flat out refused, telling me not to waste my mind on such meaningless things. She said since I didn't have a family background that matched hers, I needed to work harder to get her parents' approval. But now, Caleb had obtained it effortlessly. The caption. Actually, I don't even like this book or author that much. I just mentioned it in passing, and she went to all that trouble to get it for me. The difference between loving someone and not loving them is so obvious. It's laughable that I only realized it now, but better late than never. Thinking back, the signs were always there. Last year on Vanessa's birthday, I was away with my advisor for a conference and couldn't make it back in time. The trip ended early. When I rushed to the venue, the party was already in full swing. I heard Caleb's voice from inside. Van, I'm still curious. How did you end up with Jason? He's stubborn and obsessed with academics. He seems so boring. What's weird about it? Vanessa replied. You always think the grass is greener until you try it. Once you get bored, it's just whatever. He acts so high and mighty all day. If I were a guy, I wouldn't like him either. Don't say that, she added, her tone lazy and casual as always. I still like Jason. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been together this long. She said she liked me, yet she didn't reprimand the person insulting me. What do you even like about him? Caleb pressed. He's smart, studious, the type my parents like. And, well, he's steady and reliable, which suits me. I actually like that stubborn temper. Sometimes watching him throw a fit is kind of amusing. TCH, you just like being tortured. You ignore the people who treat you well and chase after the guy giving you the cold shoulder. Vanessa laughed. I know you treat me well. Do I treat you badly? Caleb mumbled something unhappily. The crowd started teasing them. Vanessa spoke again. There's something more important. I want to see if he can really make it entirely on his own, without using me as a stepping stone. It's been 3 years, and he really is hardworking. Humph. Acting for 3 years isn't hard. Let's see if he asks for your help when he graduates. She seemed to agree with Caleb's sentiment, giving only a non-committal hum. Back then, I just thought we needed more time to adjust to each other. After all, we grew up in different environments. She tolerated a lot from me, too. People who are used to relying on themselves tend to introspect first. Plus, she took me on a trip for a month that summer and planned everything perfectly. I thought, no one is perfect. If I enjoy her good side, I have to tolerate her bad side. Also, I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove to her that the last 3 years weren't an act. That day, I managed to convince myself to let it go. She never knew I had come back early. Thinking about it now, I was just inexperienced. I was out of my league. Vanessa only liked the parts of me that benefited her, not me as a person. That's why whenever there was a conflict between Caleb and me, I was never her priority. A love like that, I'm better off without it. The next day, Vanessa found my new apartment. She was holding a gift box. It looked like the packaging for a high-end luxury watch. You really have the nerve to ignore me completely. You've been throwing a tantrum for days. Surely you've cooled off by now? I didn't want to engage with her. Here, take it. Apology gift. I shouldn't have used that tone with you the other day. Whatever you plan to do next, I'll arrange it for you. I glanced at the watch, likely worth a fortune, with zero interest. My phone buzzed. I picked it up, and my hand trembled slightly. It was the offer from the UCLA lab. Success. Vanessa saw my unconcealed excitement and looked puzzled. Did you find a job that fast? Is it legit? Let me look at it for you. She reached for my phone. I dodged her quickly. No need. She laughed helplessly. Is that necessary? I am your girlfriend. I composed my face and looked at her coldly. Princess, do you have amnesia? We broke up. And you don't need to worry about me using your resources to climb the ladder. After all, you destroyed what I earned through my own hard work with a single sentence. I'm the one who lost out here. Vanessa's face darkened instantly. You still haven't gotten over that? I told you I'd compensate you. Can't you have a little empathy for Caleb? Whether I'm over it or not doesn't matter. We have no relationship now. Stop bothering me. I walked past her to leave. Behind me, I heard something being smashed onto the ground. I remembered something and turned back. By the way, that signed book you went to so much trouble to get? The recipient doesn't seem to like it much. Please, tell your rich friends not to waste resources. Leave some for the true fans. Vanessa chased after me, looking a bit panicked. Jason, listen to me. I thought since you hadn't mentioned it in so long, maybe you didn't like it that much anymore. Caleb said he liked it and he's had so many regrets growing up, I couldn't hide my sneer as I cut her off. Vanessa, will you just admit it? In your world, he always comes before me. She looked down, speechless. That night, just as I finished preparing my onboarding documents and was about to sleep, my phone blew up.
Jason, wijn is drank.
She's yelling for you to come pick her up. We're at Blue Velvet. Get over here. It was noisy in the background, and I could hear Vanessa making a drunken scene. I'm not going back. Let him come here. I turned up the volume. Did she not tell you guys? We broke up. Besides, she has plenty of people lining up to take care of her. Caleb got such a huge favor from her, you guys should give him a chance to repay her kindness. The background noise seemed to pause. What are you babbling about? Spread any more rumors and I'll sue you for defamation. It was Caleb's voice, furious. The comment about lining up to take care of her must have hit a nerve. Tonight, every time he tried to get close to Vanessa, she probably pushed him away. The people who were originally cheering him on were now looking at him differently, like he was the other man breaking up a relationship. But Jason said they broke up. Yet, right at that moment, Vanessa shouted, "We didn't break up. I didn't agree. Jason, come back." They must have had me on speaker. Everyone started talking at once. "Miss Lou is humbling herself this much. You should quit while you're ahead. Don't push it too far." "Yeah, Jason, look, you didn't get accepted. You need Van to look out for you regarding a job. Why break up? What good does it do you?" I raised my voice to emphasize my point one last time. "Vanessa, I broke up with you. If you keep bothering me, it's harassment. And the rest of you, don't contact me again for any reason." I hung up. My gloom vanished. I opened an app and booked a flight to Los Angeles for next week. A friend I was on decent terms with was holding a birthday party and invited me. Thinking that I was leaving for LA in 2 days and opportunities to gather would be rare, and knowing she wasn't close with Vanessa, I agreed to go. When I arrived at the venue that evening, I saw 2 people surrounded by a crowd. I guessed what was happening and turned to leave, but the hostess grabbed me. "Hey, how did I offend you that you want to leave as soon as you get here?" Looking at her expression, maybe I had misunderstood. She didn't know about me and Vanessa. I picked a corner to sit in and listen to the gossip nearby. Is the guy next to Vanessa her boyfriend? Probably. I see them together a lot, but they haven't gone public. Bringing him to a crowded event like this basically counts as going public. I sipped my drink, bored, planning to say hello and leave early. Vanessa walked over. "Jason, you look handsome today." I looked down and didn't respond. She sat down. "I'm gonna give you a surprise today." Not far away, Caleb's gaze shot toward me like a poisoned dagger. Not interested. I still refused to look her in the eye. "Your temper really hasn't changed a bit. I'm the only one who could tolerate you." The birthday girl took the microphone on stage to start the event. "Thank you all for coming to my party. We have a lovely couple here tonight who have known each other for years and want to use this opportunity to announce their sweet relationship to all their friends." Seeing Vanessa walk up and take the microphone, the last shred of hope in my heart vanished. She looked smilingly in my direction. "My boyfriend is Mr. Jason G. We have been in love for 4 years. 2 girls came over and dragged me into the crowd. Next, I want to propose to Mr. Jason G." Vanessa pulled out a ring box and walked up to me. "Jason, will you marry me?" The birthday girl led the chant. "Say yes, say yes." I turned my head to look at her. I saw not a shred of guilt for deceiving me. A wave of sorrow washed over me. I really need to reflect on my poor judgment of character. Seeing me unresponsive, Vanessa grabbed my hand. "Why are you being shy?" I swung my arm, knocking the ring to the floor. The chanting stopped dead. "We already broke up. How many times do I have to say it? You gave my lab spot to him. You gave the signed book I wanted to him. You take him everywhere, letting everyone think you're a couple. Since you love him so much, why don't you two just lock it down? Why keep pestering me?" Everyone's faces changed, especially Vanessa's and Caleb's. Whispers started rippling through the room. "So Caleb isn't her boyfriend? But he got into the Stanford lab? No wonder the real boyfriend is mad. I only found out today that this guy is the boyfriend. Then what is Caleb? The side piece?" Vanessa's face was dark. She shouted, "Enough!" The room went quiet again. The birthday girl frowned, pulled at my arm, and tried to persuade me kindly. "Jason, why are you being like this?" I was shocked when she asked to use my party to propose. With her family background and character, what are you hesitating for? Marry her, and any job you want is just a word away. I pulled my hand back, speaking coldly. "You never considered me a friend either. I don't believe you didn't know anything. What did she promise you?" She looked flustered and turned red. "I don't know what you're talking about. If I didn't consider you a friend, would I want the best for you? Stop acting out. If you don't fix that stubborn temper, you're gonna scare everyone away." Vanessa clearly agreed with her, staring at me intently. She was waiting for me to show weakness, to be grateful for her proposal. Our eyes met, and memories flashed through my mind like a highlight reel. Forget it. I didn't want to say another word. I turned to leave. Suddenly, Caleb lunged at me. What are you being so high and mighty about? Vanessa just helped me once, and you won't let it go. Now you're making people think I'm a homewrecker. You aren't leaving until you clear my name. His fingernails were long, and he clawed straight at my face. I realized his actual intent was to disfigure me. In such a chaotic situation, there would be no substantial evidence to prosecute him later. What a vicious and stupid mind. I quickly grabbed his wrist and slapped him with everything I had. He stumbled and fell to the floor. Clutching his swelling face, he glared at me with red eyes and screamed, "Jason, you're a psycho." Vanessa rushed over to help him up, then turned to scold me furiously. "I'm the one who made you lose your spot, not Caleb. If you have anger, take it out on me." Why take it out on him? I stunned for a moment, then laughed, though tears pricked the corners of my eyes. I hit him because he attacked me. It was self-defense. Don't make everything about you. I have nothing to do with you anymore. Vanessa, do you just love the fantasy of two men fighting over you? Caleb loves a pissing contest. I have no interest. Vanessa stood frozen, seeming unable to comprehend my words. The party ended on a sour note. After that day, I learned the birthday girl had indeed taken a bribe from Vanessa. Vanessa had given a partnership project from her family's company to the girl's family business. But after the scene at the party, that deal fell through. Vanessa got chewed out by her father. She blamed me and texted to curse me out. Caleb was right. What are you acting so high for? Even if you wanted to refuse, couldn't you do it privately? You had to make it so ugly at the party? I finally managed to do something right in front of my dad, and you ruined it. Jason, don't you have a conscience? After re-blocking her, I couldn't help but sigh. That entire social circle was rotten. Meanwhile, the fact that Caleb got in through the back door became a hot topic because I had brought it up publicly. Although everyone knew how things worked, procedurally it was hard to attack. Lab admissions weren't based solely on grades, but on a comprehensive assessment. There was a lot of room for manipulation, subjective reasons like potential and fit, or exaggerating research experience, using the gray areas of the rules to play favorites. My advisor was furious but couldn't openly demand justice for me. However, she canceled her original collaborative project with the Stanford lab, making her stance clear. It was a slap in the face to both Vanessa and Caleb. Collaborating with the lab at our own university is just convention, not a requirement. The UCLA lab has been developing well in recent years. Moving over there breaks down some institutional barriers. I've been lucky to have such a good mentor all these years. She's the reason for my success today. While I was looking forward to my future career, Vanessa haunted me like a ghost. Jason, I talked to my mother. We have a generic executive position for you at the company. You should be satisfied now, right? Let the past go. Stop making things hard for Caleb. After we completely tore things up that day, I thought she wouldn't pester me again. You still think the reason I can't get over it is because I didn't get your help? I couldn't believe that after 4 years, her understanding of me was so shallow. I didn't mean that. I just said I would compensate you. I don't need it. I'll earn my own future. If you could just stop obstructing me, I'd be grateful. My attitude was hard and sarcastic. She lost her patience. Fine. You're so capable. Don't come begging me later. This time, surely we would go our separate ways. To my surprise, on the day I onboarded at the UCLA lab, Vanessa showed up again. Jason, why didn't you tell me you got accepted into UCLA? Seeing her, my reflex was to be sarcastic. Although you aren't powerful enough to reach your hand into UCLA and ruin my career, there's no need to tell irrelevant people about important matters. Vanessa's eyes held a bit more sincerity. Jason, I know now that you really are excellent. You can totally carve out a niche on your own. I was narrow-minded before. Will you forgive me? I've missed you so much recently. I suspect you're bad luck. Everything has gone smoothly since I left you. So, no contact is the safest policy. She got anxious, stepping closer to grab my hand. We have so many years of feelings. How can you just give up like that? Mentioning that did touch a nerve. Those were huge sunk costs. I really had invested my heart in those years. You talk about so many years. But how much of that time were you just testing me? What are you trying to tell me? I finally passed your little exam. She admitted it openly. I admit I was testing you before. After all, given your background. But I fully trust you now. I really love you. Jason, let's get married. My parents are satisfied with you too. Now is the perfect time. I gave a mocking laugh. And what about your Caleb? Her tone was urgent. I have nothing to do with him. Getting him into the lab was just fulfilling his dream. I won't have much to do with him in the future. Jason, believe me, women's sweet nothings, always spoken so easily, without logic. Nothing she had done before could be explained away. I shook my head. I don't believe you. After that day, Vanessa came to LA to intercept me every 2 or 3 days. At the same time, I heard from my senior about Caleb. When virtue doesn't match position, disaster follows. That phrase manifested perfectly in him. The division of labor in the lab was strict and precise, requiring immediate responses. Caleb couldn't keep up at all. He frequently disappeared to slack off, delaying experiments multiple times. Everyone already resented the half-wit who got in through the back door. But Vanessa protected him, so everyone dared to be angry but not to speak out. Caleb felt no guilt about this. Instead, he was smug. He posted on social media bragging that his princess would always clean up his messes. Later, a major project was scrapped right before implementation because he concealed a mistake he made. The financial loss was massive. Even Vanessa couldn't save him. The incident was so big it alerted her mother. The others in the lab seized the opportunity to sign a joint petition reporting Caleb for negligence. Security footage, attendance records, data reports, the evidence was comprehensive. People started questioning the Stanford lab's recruitment standards, digging up Caleb's scores. My advisor also spoke up, stating that her student had been treated unfairly in the previous recruitment, which was the fundamental reason she moved her project to another lab. She also questioned the recruitment process at Stanford and hoped for a thorough investigation. Public outrage exploded. In the end, Caleb was fired from the lab for incompetence. The fact that Vanessa used her status as the shareholder's daughter to influence the hiring managers was also exposed. The online discussion about the incident generated huge heat. So capital is controlling everything. No wonder. The guy who got replaced is so pitiful. Heard he was ranked first in everything. To be pushed out like that is too dark. Ruining someone's future with a simple hello. You'd think they were mortal enemies. The discussion spread to Vanessa's mother's company. Her mother was severely reprimanded, and Vanessa was removed from her position in the company. After all, she wasn't an only child. She was highly replaceable. This massive drop in status was a huge blow to a golden girl like Vanessa. She vented all her rage on Caleb. Why did you make such a rookie mistake? And you dragged me down with you. Idiot. You don't have a fraction of Jason's talent. Faced with the abuse, Caleb initially tried to endure it, planning to play the victim to gain sympathy. But hearing Vanessa say he couldn't compare to me, he snapped on the spot. Yeah, I can't compare to him, but you clearly liked me more. Otherwise, why were you so good to me? He broke up with you, yet you're obsessed with him. I didn't see you care that much about him before. Vanessa froze. Even Caleb was saying she didn't care enough about me. It showed just how excessive she had been in the past, testing her boyfriend endlessly, yet giving everything to someone else. She truly regretted it. Jason was so excellent he didn't need her at all. And it was true he didn't want her anymore. After being fired, Caleb saw that Vanessa was no longer someone he could cling to, so he looked for someone else. But everyone in the circle knew his true colors and avoided him like the plague. Caleb became a laughingstock in the city, his reputation completely trashed. Someone spotted him on a second-hand marketplace selling branded goods. Only then did Vanessa realize how blind she had been. For a man with impure motives who only cared about profit, she lost me. When I saw the videos circulating online, I felt that karma truly exists. My days at the UCLA lab were fulfilling and exhausting. After getting into it, I realized it wasn't inferior to Stanford's. Recruitment wasn't based on which school you graduated from, and students from the home university had no priority. It was all based on the individual. Research funding was increasing every year. Many professors, seeing the situation with me and my advisor, moved their collaborative projects over here as well. Because the Stanford lab lost so many projects, Vanessa's mother, as the largest shareholder, directed her anger even more at Vanessa. She was shipping Vanessa off to a subsidiary in Africa to atone for her sins. She wasn't allowed back until she produced results. Before Vanessa left the country, she came to find me one last time. In just a month, she had lost a lot of weight and looked utterly defeated. Those eyes that once captivated me, like stars and oceans, were now dim. "Jason, I'm leaving. I might not see you for a very long time." As she spoke, tears began to fall. A woman weeping snot and tears in front of me was unsightly. I took out a tissue and handed it to her. She grabbed my wrist. "Jason, you still care about me, right? Wait for me. Wait for me to make something of myself over there. I'll come back, and we'll get married then. Okay?" I thought, is this person crazy? I pulled my hand back forcefully and spoke coldly. "Your family is high nobility. A commoner like me can't climb that high. I know you're mad at me. I was wrong before. I didn't think Caleb was that kind of person." I laughed lightly. "Your thought process is truly bizarre. What kind of person Caleb is, does that have anything to do with me? You didn't trust me, you were biased, and you treated him well unconditionally while stringing us both along. That's all on you. Now, you're only here begging to win me back because you realized I don't need to rely on you, and because Caleb revealed his true nature. But think about it carefully. Do you actually love me?" Vanessa couldn't say another word. 3 years later, I had achieved many of my youthful aspirations. Those things I once couldn't get past were just wrinkles in the tapestry of life. They were still there, but no one cared. At a gathering, many people praised me as the one who had developed the best. They didn't seem to remember how they used to criticize me, acting as if losing Vanessa meant losing all hope in life. Even the girl who had deceived me acted as if she had never sent those texts. She grabbed my arm with a smile. "Jason, you're getting more charming every day." I subtly withdrew my arm and responded with polite distance. "Thanks for the compliment." She smiled awkwardly and didn't approach me again. The former center of attention, though not present, was an unavoidable topic. "Did you hear? Vanessa is suffering big time in Africa. That place is barely habitable. Her mom is ruthless, said she was tossing her out, and really hasn't let her come back. That's how wealthy families are. When things are good, you're the golden child. One mistake, and you're a pawn to be sacrificed. Looks glamorous, but they're actually worse off than us." I heard Caleb went back to his hometown and started streaming. It's pretty cringy, bearing it all. Is that necessary? There are so many streaming niches, why go that route? Easy money. Didn't he rely on the Liu family girl before? When has he ever actually worked hard? I listened to the gossip circling around the same old topics. It was boring. I left before the party ended. Time shouldn't be wasted on ineffective socializing. My life has infinite possibilities waiting for me to explore.